Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Force Collective. I'm here with Sir AOA and Commander Tano. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How you guys doing this fine evening, or whatever time it is around your area?
Morning. It's morning. It's 8 a.m.
Yeah.
in the morning.
Okay, for you, how are you this morning, Sir AOA?
Oh, pretty good. The weather has decided to be overcast but warm, so I'm not freezing my ass off.
Well, that's good. It's good. And what about you, Commander Tano? How are you?
I'm all right. I am tired. It's evening here. I live in DC, so it's just humid and miserable outside, but otherwise doing well.
I can probably say I can't say words. I can probably say the same around here. It's always either humid or dry or too hot. It's if it's not any of those, it's raining constantly. So, hello there, Chrono. Nice to see you here. I'm very glad that you joined us. All right. So, I forgot to mute my phone. I said I was going to do it. I said I was going to do it, and I forgot. Okay. I'm not with it today. I'm tired. But now that we are here, by the way, for anyone that's wondering, Psycho will not be joining us today. He is on a trip, but he will be back next time around, so don't you worry. We are going to start off today with one topic. This might be a shorter stream because of this one topic, but I just wanted to sort of talk about it because it's actually pretty exciting. And if you couldn't tell by the picture of the man on the screen, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. You should know. But we are talking about Dave Filoni's promotion to what was it? Creative director?
Executive creative director.
Okay, I forgot the executive part. But yeah, and we're also going to be talking about what it means for Star Wars in the future. So, the fact that they did this, in my opinion, is a very welcome move. And I don't know if it's like any representation of what's going on behind the scenes, because I've heard a lot of things going on behind the scenes, rumored. So I don't know if it's true or not. But, this could be a really good move on Lucasfilm's end. And, I mean, I would think so.
Disney, let's face it, it's Disney's move, not Lucas's film.
Okay, yeah. Disney's
Yeah.
move. Yeah, you're probably right, because, I mean, I don't think that Kathleen Kennedy made this move on her own. Probably had somebody holding her arm behind her back, forced her down against her desk, and be like, "You're going to do this."
Maybe not the image to put in everyone's head.
Oh gosh, did I made that sound really bad, didn't I?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh. I do. I'm very bad for this kind of thing. I say things and they come out very odd in different ways. And once you hear me enough, you'll know that I do this a lot. I don't need.
No, it's all good. All good. But, I mean, sort of like put a gun to her head or a lightsaber to her neck. All good. A blaster bolt.
Well, you know what? You brought attention to it by saying it out loud. So if nobody was thinking it before, you brought it to their mind. I blame you for that.
Trust me. If it didn't jump into everyone's mind, they must not have been listening.
Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm terrible at making these. I guess little
analogies.
Scenarios. Yeah, analogies. That's it. That's the word. All right. So as I was getting ready to say, they put a gun to her head. I'm going to say it like this now. They put a gun to her head and forced her to do it. Okay, so what do you guys think about this move? Like, what do you think it means for the future of Star Wars? So I'm going to start with you, Sir AOA, since you're underneath me on here. Go ahead.
I need to get my head out of the gutter.
Yes, you do.
I think we can put it into this way. Ding dong, the witch is dead. No, it means so many different things. And it can mean so many different things. It's almost hard to know where it starts. I mean, the first thing that needs to be said is that, the apprentice has now become the master. And it's sorry. There was a Twitter thread that I just saw, and it had a poll, what is your Star Wars? And the options was, George Lucas's Star Wars, Disney's Star Wars, both, or, describe in the thread below. And what you saw a lot of in that thread was Dave Filoni's Star Wars.
Dang.
So, what does it mean for content? Well, I think the people have spoken. All good. The big questions that I have is... Well, sorry, before I get to the big questions, but I mean, what does it mean? It means that we should get more good content like the Clone Wars, the Mandalorian, everything else in the Favreau Filoni verse of Star Wars content. So, of course, that should make everyone happy.
Oh yeah.
The big question that I need to ask. The big question that's running around in my head is, frankly, what's happening with the sequels and the High Republic.
That's another one.
Yeah, because the thing is that, and this was something that was brought up from Midnight's Edge when they interviewed I'm probably going to mispronounce his name, Carmen Pasha.
I'm not entirely sure on the pronunciation, but
you know who I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And one of the things he said was that when new executives come in, they get rid of the old stuff.
That's true. If you were going with that train of thought, you would think that the sequel trilogy will get removed somehow, if it isn't already in the works with the Ahsoka series. And, well, the High Republic's definitely going to go. They're not even talking about it anymore, are they?
No, they're not.
Nobody's talking about it.
Well, no, there are people talking about it.
Not that I've seen lately anything major.
Yeah. It's just that, none of the industry people are talking about it.
I'm kind of
the
Twitterati bored.
I don't know. I don't see why you should be bored. There is still plenty from the Twitterati that are just saying absolute crap. But I mean, the thing is that At this present moment, we can only speculate on what's going to happen, but you should probably, I would expect to see some way of getting the sequel trilogy out of the way, so Star Wars essentially has a future. Because with the sequel trilogy in the way, the only space is behind them, not in front of them.
Yeah.
So
There's not really anything they can do with the sequel trilogy.
Well, so there's stuff they can do. Should they do it? No, because
that's what I mean, though. Like, they can't because it wouldn't probably sit well with anybody,
or work, or be interesting, or anything like that.
I still don't think there's any way to justify Luke's treatment either. So
absolutely. But so yeah, hopefully everything that I just said comes to pass, and I wouldn't be surprised if it did come to pass, because, well, frankly, Kathleen Kennedy and the Empire have been doing everything to screw with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. So it's probably they're not going to have any cover when Dave Filoni just walks in and goes, "Yeah, no, that's cancelled."
Yeah.
Oh, what? You fired Gina Carano? Lose everything.
Yeah.
But and I agree with what a lot of the Star Wars YouTubers have been sort of saying, that it's going to be a quiet goodbye rather than a "we're firing all of you."
Yeah.
Now, of course, no, actually, I don't think they would ever go with the "we're firing all of you." It's just sort of a case of Kathleen Kennedy will be able to, ride off into the sunset. And I think at that point, they can just go to the rest of the Empire's minions in the in Lucasfilm and sort of go, "Yeah, your Emperor is gone. There's, we're not going to fire you or anything, but, the door's over there." And unless they really jump up and try and make a mess of things, it's just going to be a case of, we're not going to stay around here and just have the Empire just quietly leave. But yeah. I really don't expect the sequel trilogy to sort of remain. And I don't expect the High Republic or the Alkalite series to last long.
Yeah, me neither.
Yep, exactly. The best clip to explain all of that.
Yeah. So one other thing that I wanted to mention real quick, because something you said sort of got me thinking about it. And I don't know how credible Mike Zero is, but he's kept talking about Kathleen Kennedy making her own production company or something like that, and her and most of the others will move over there with her. Do you know anything about
that? Well, that's just been something that's been going around for absolute ages. Mike Zero wasn't the first person to bring it up.
Is he the only person? I've not heard anybody else say anything about it.
No. Overlord DVD, Midnight's Edge.
I haven't been keeping up, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, this has been around. This has been going around for almost 2 years now, type situation.
Ah.
So it's not a recent thing. It's just sort of a case of it's coming close to the end. Actually, I think there was chatter about it when her contract was going to be renewed last time. about her doing this. I think for Kathleen Kennedy, it was always the plan. But it's just becoming a little bit more obvious now because because the thing is that there's no way they're going to renew. They will just throw someone into that job, even and just say, "Oh, temporary leadership of Lucasfilm if they need to," so it doesn't harm their reputation type situation. But with Dave Filoni as executive creative director, if anyone was smart, they would take that job in a second, because I wouldn't be surprised if on the back of Dave Filoni we get some of the best Star Wars content for a while now.
That's what I'm hoping for too.
Yep.
So, what about you, Commander Tano? Tell us what you think about this. What does this move by Lucasfilm and Disney mean?
So I'll give a bit of the cynic's angle to this, but then end it on a good note. You know, I think, and we kind of alluded to this, we're really not going to know what this means until later. You know, when we see what content comes out, when we see what, you know, all that.
Yeah.
I also agree with, if this means Kathleen Kennedy or, people in her orbit are on their way out, it's going to be it'll be a peaceful transition, but and a quiet one, because contracts are very expensive to break. And I think Disney, and I also agree, this is a Disney move, more likely a Disney move than a Lucasfilm move. I think Disney cares more about money, which that can be a bad thing in some instances, but that's something that, we could play to our advantage in kind of encouraging good behavior from Disney and discouraging bad behavior. But
we have been.
Yep. And I think this is part of the fruits of that. So here's the thing: this could be a situation where, at worst case scenario, this is kind of like a dog whistle to the fans, like, oh, hey, we know you like this guy. Look, we promoted him. Come back, And it could merely be that. But on the other hand, even if it's merely just that shows that things that we've been doing and talking about, that they've been listening. And so I would take that as an encouragement to keep on keeping on with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, either way, no matter how you look at it, whether you see this as in the future we are actually going to get really good content and things will be better going forward, or if you're looking at more of kind of from the cynical point of view of this is just they're just trying to dog whistle some of the fans. Either way, the fans we're in a better position today than we were prior to this. You know what I mean? It's a move forward. It's a question of how much of a move forward.
Yep.
So, and I've said this so many times. Like, I'm so curious. I'd love to know what Kathleen Kennedy's contract looks like. Or contracts more likely with Lucasfilm, Disney. I think it'll be, I think a lot of any transitions we see are going to be really quiet, because I think Disney is greedy. They want both to, they both want to court, the fans who would like to see Favreau and Filoni have more control over things. At the same time, they don't want to they kind of don't want people to notice that they've gotten rid of Kennedy and company. They don't want to deal with that press, and whatever, so be it. I'm trying to think. There's something else. There's something else I was going to say about this. Oh, this is really bothering me. If I've lost this, this is really bothering me.
You're sounding like me now.
Oh, so about the sequels and just related material and what will happen to that. That's another interesting thing where, once again, contracts are much more expensive to break than to keep. So one thing I might not be surprised about is, like, say, the High Republic books or whatever. We don't know, like, say, what contracts that Lucasfilm has already signed with, say, certain authors or creators to put out certain content. So it may take some time to see that stuff be published and then kind of purged eventually from the system, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There may be some lag with that. So I think, once again, that these changes will take time. So you'll get that kind of lag. I also think, in terms of how to handle the sequels, what I think Disney might do, and what I think would be the best thing to do, is to put the sequels in a museum. They belong in a museum, metaphorically.
It belongs in a museum.
It does.
Hello, everyone. Hello there. Sorry.
But they do. And the thing is, because I think we've talked about this before, but there is stuff in that, in those stories that, or characters that people liked or appreciated. And I think Disney Lucasfilm, I think they made a mistake in when Disney acquired Lucasfilm and then kind of decided to go a new direction and remake, by kind of alienating people who were into all the EU stuff and kind of that, and relegating that to this sort of legends category. Now, I do agree, it's like, at some point with the franchise, you can't have one canon. Like, that, you can't find room for all these different stories. You are going to have areas where things conflict.
Yep.
And so I think having basically doing, for the sequels, having that create a new category of legends, if you will. And letting
yeah.
Well, the other thing is too, is if for instance you get people who would like to experiment with that content, like there are people who like, or pull from it, like, say you could bring back, say a character like Finn into the good canon, if you will, eventually, as a character, and give him like the character, give him the storyline that he deserves, or for any number of those characters, you could do that. Or you could just play in kind of this legend sandbox and have even more freedom with that. But that's where I think is that we kind of need more of just this Star Wars, kind of this museum where we keep all these different legends sandboxes that, that either could be kind of borrowed from, and introduced into kind of the new good timeline, or just kind of, or storytellers can stay in those sandboxes and just stick with those. Like, if people liked how Luke was handled in The Last Jedi, they can stay in that sandbox and they can make content for that. And I think that's probably the best way. Like, there's no really good way of doing a divorce, as it were, but I think that's the best way to have kind of an amicable divorce between storylines and allow different fan bases to kind of enjoy what they like, and just not introduce this kind of element of hostility to it.
Absolutely.
But I definitely agree that they belong in a museum, in that sense. So
No, yeah, I honestly think that there should be alternate timelines. Like, there's the timeline with the original trilogy and the sequels and the prequels together. Then you can have your EU, and then you can just have the George Lucas movies in a timeline. Let's just do that. Let's just say there's separate timelines. Let's just say the Veil of the Force created separate timelines, and we can just move on.
Well, hopefully that's what they're doing with Ahsoka.
Yes, and I think another another indication I think that we're heading that way of not taking this kind of not adhering to this
And they
strict
got Filoni now as
this
creative.
strict dogmatic single timeline is, you know, one thing I've noticed, and as I've said, I kind of am not trying to avoid following some of the commentary on the Bad Batch because some of it's just so hilarious, and like I can't respond to this. Some of it's so silly I can't. But
Which part?
but one thing I will say is I remember with the first episode, and there was all this to do about how it didn't align with, say, the Kanan comic, or like the finale of Clone Wars. You know how it didn't align with the Ahsoka book that was released a few years prior. I think that's very promising that those things have happened, and that at least Filoni doesn't feel that he's obligated to. Oh, you gotta make sure this aligns with this book and this, and it's like he doesn't care about it. Doesn't seem about a single timeline. Now, I think he's very slowly and gently kind of acclimating the audience to that idea. So yeah, it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, I really like Bad Batch, so I do like it. So I mean, I think that if I'm glad. See, I told everyone this. I said Kathleen Kennedy is going to get fired, and Filoni and Favreau is going to replace her as creative director. What did I say? And then it happened.
Well,
I said
Kathleen Kennedy's not going to get fired. She's just not going to have a contract.
Her contract's over at the end of this year, I believe.
She'll quietly retreat.
Yes, that's not a firing. That's oh well, thank you for doing what you're doing. Now we're gonna go with someone else.
Basically,
we're gonna
like having a relationship with somebody and having like a mutual breakup, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of a firing right now because of what she's done to Star Wars. I think it's like get out of here type thing.
Well, probably behind the scenes, but publicly it's going to be her contract is up, and good.
Yeah, she's done so much.
Good tidings, yes, absolutely. I will be right back.
Okay,
because I think something's happening.
Okay.
All right. So, well, I had something to say. Dang it, Commander Tony, you started it with me now. All right, hold on. I got it. I think. Sorta. Okay. So, when it comes to all this, I there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. I did say what it mean, or we did discuss what it means for Star Wars currently, and like you said, there's no way of knowing for sure what it means for the future of Star Wars. But I mean, time will tell. And hopefully this will all be good. Another thing, after I let Bounty Hunter say his piece, there's one other thing that we will discuss before we do the last thing. But I want to know what it means for Star Wars stories in general. Because and you sort of touched on that, Commander Tano, talking about like a multiverse and all that stuff. And they got when you said he's slowly inching us into that. That's actually a really, really, really. I don't know how to say it now. Dang it!
It's a really good idea.
Yes, basically. It's a really good point. That's what I was trying to say. Man, I sounded like a broken record. Yeah, it was a really good point you made. I really didn't think about it like that until you said it. A Star Wars multiverse would actually be really good. I mean, if it works for the comics, it worked like for DC and Marvel, then it could work for Star Wars as well. I mean,
the only difference is though, and this is something that they really should probably, learn the lessons from comic books, is that they should definitely try and keep a core timeline. And then just
of course,
allow elseworld stories to go wherever type of situation, because I think from memory, I think Disney's views on fan-made stuff is sort of like a big case of go ahead, have fun.
Mhm.
Well,
So
I
with
slightly
that,
disagree on that, actually.
I can't remember if they have that view. I just remember one of the franchises having sort of like a, oh yeah, when it comes to fan made stuff, have fun. We're not going to sue the pants off you or anything like that.
I got you.
I just
Yeah,
remember that it was, I think it was Disney. Oh, sorry, it was Star Wars.
Yeah, there's a rule with if you make a fan film based off a Disney property, of like a Star Wars or something, it would have to be shown at a like a Star Wars convention or Disney convention before you can put it online. Is what I read.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that with that sort of viewpoint, you kind of want to curate a good core, but allow sort of Elseworld stuff to sort of exist and for people to go nuts with it, but just sort of making sure that the core has a continuous line through it.
Yeah.
And I would very much sort of say that it should be sort of like kept to the movies and the TV shows, where the books and all that are kind of Elseworldy type situation.
It's too much to keep to manage and keep track of too, because I think, at least for me, like, I'm aware of books and written material, other stuff that isn't TV or movies, but I just, like most people, first encounter Star Wars through TV or movies, and
or games, yeah,
and so I think that helped, because otherwise you end up in situations like with the sequels where there's maybe some critical detail that would have been nice to know in one of the movies, and you had to read the book.
Read the book, yeah.
Like
90%
sorry, go ahead.
of the stuff, like 90% of the stuff in the sequels.
Hey,
dude, 90% of the stuff was cut from that movie. All of them. Like if they put the scenes that they deleted in it, it would actually make more sense, and it would be a better movie.
So, are you saying that the entirety of the sequel trilogy is only 30% of what it was supposed to be?
Yeah, because there was a really good scene between Rey and Luke at the party on Octu, and it got cut, and it explained more backstory of Rey and Luke's relationship and what they were like on the island, and they cut it. And I'm like, why?
Because they would probably needed to add every scene with Luke and bloody Rey on the island, and to make it make sense.
What
would make more sense? It was the party scene. So
if The Last Jedi ended with Rey staying on that island with Luke to train for a couple years, and then Episode 9 starting out with a couple years into the future, everybody's like, I wonder when Rey's going to come back. The First Order's cracking down even harder, and then something bad happens, and Rey hears about it somehow, and like, oh, well, I better go, and then shows up, and then there's like this big old celebration that she's back, and we're gonna win, and all that.
Actually, that's an idea. They probably should have had Rey absent in the 8th movie.
Yeah,
well, sorry, not so much
like
absent,
it was gonna
but I
be
mean,
like that.
But I mean, have her absent from the Resistance for the entirety of the 8th movie.
Yeah.
Where
she sort of was, but not in the way that you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, okay. When you do have to remember that I think the entirety of the sequel trilogy was like in a couple of months, rather than with the original trilogy where it was sort of like a couple of years, I think.
It was over the course of, how many years? The Empire. Okay, so Episode 4 took place 19 years after Episode 3. And by the end of the war, which lasted, I think, for 26 years. So you just got to think how many years has this trilogy spanned over, because it started with 19, ended at 26. So if my math is correct, that is 7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about
but-
5,
but- but
7
I mean-
years. Yeah.
But I mean, the original trilogy was based over a large period of in-world time,
Yeah.
where the sequel trilogy was all over in 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. The whole war with the Empire that we seen in the movies lasted for 7 years. But if you're talking about lore, it was 26.
Yeah. Oh, I'm talking about
Yeah,
lore.
that would have been from Revenge of the Sith to Return of the Jedi, the end of the Empire.
Yeah.
The
But I mean,
26,
and I mean,
right?
and I think A New Hope was definitely halfway through the war or something, or near the end of the war type
It
situation.
was 7 years away from the end.
Yeah. So I mean, it you kind of understood how all the relationships developed in the original trilogy. Why? Because it was over a larger time space, where the sequel trilogy was sort of like, oh, I just bumped into this guy and now we're best friends. How long you've been best friends for? 2 weeks. Oh, I've got a mentor and training, and he's going to train me for
3 days.
3 days.
I didn't even need the training. All I had to do was touch the tip of Ben's finger, and I figured out things. So
and yeah, just force download.
yeah,
From
Force Skype, guys. That's the most important thing. Just force Skype everyone, and then you're good.
yeah.
So yeah, I've forgotten what the original point was. So it's no, I've completely lost it now.
I'm sure it was a good point.
Everyone's a broken
We
record.
I was having so much fun just making as many jokes as possible that I've completely lost the point now.
We were talking about the books and the continuity between the movies and the books.
Oh, the stories of Star Wars,
and there needing to be a core. If that brings you back to your point, I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that, frankly, when it comes to the core, we need to, you sort of need to keep it towards the sort of TVs and the movies, and not have books sort of explain stuff of what did Luke and Ray train with? Oh, find out when you read the book. No. It should be in the movies, it should be on the shows, and if it isn't, it shouldn't be considered canon.
Okay.
yeah.
I went and looked in my bookshelf over here that I got, and I have the Last Jedi book. So this is something I wanted to mention because I knew it said something on the book that actually got me thinking. You know how bounty hunters said, and how the mathematics may not add up. I'm pretty sure there's probably at least a little more than 30% of the trilogy as a whole. But the book for The Last Jedi, and we all know how that movie turned out. So the book itself says it's the expanded edition. Why is that?
Because they don't know how to write a movie.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Listen,
They left someone. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but I need to say it. A Star Wars movie needs to be at least 3 hours long. I don't care how long it has to be, but with Star Wars, you have to get so much across in one movie. Just make it like 2 hours and 30 minutes or 3 hours.
Okay.
And then
I got a great idea for that. Then I got a great idea for that. Just hire Peter Jackson to do a Lord of the Rings style Star Wars trilogy.
Dude, we need Peter Jackson to do it. Yes.
Extended editions and everything. I would love that. Put that
well,
much
actually,
love in
Imagine if you got like Fallen Order with Peter Jackson or something, or like the Knights of the Old Republic by Peter Jackson. I don't know, man. That sounds cool. Listen, I take Peter Jackson any day. Doctor Who didn't, and look where they are. I'm just saying. they had Doctor Who had the opportunity to get Peter Jackson. They said we don't hire non-British people. I'm like, wait, what? You had Lord of the Rings. You had Lord of the Rings on your doorstep, and you
Non-British.
said no.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm not even going to ask. Okay, so before we continue on to what it means for the stories of Star Wars, I think we already sort of covered that with this last conversation a little bit, but we're going to go a little more in depth with it. What do you think that the promotion of Dave Filoni means, Bounty Hunter Network? What does it mean for the future of Star Wars?
Oh, me? What do I think this mean? What do I think Dave's promotion means?
Yes, for the future of Star Wars.
100 years of Star Wars. Oh no, but no.
I'll take that. Hey, I'll take that.
As long as it's good and not Ryan Johnson trilogy.
Listen.
Okay,
I feel like the promotion of John and Dave and George Lucas back to creative directors of Star Wars, because that's the group right there. Those are the three honchos of the Filoni camp, is now what we're calling it, because now Filoni's creative director. So I'd say the Favreau Filoni camp with George Lucas is going to lead us into a bigger, brighter future for Star Wars. And I feel like that things will change, and the sequels will be heavily swept away in the next few years, and then they'll make another 7, 8, and 9 maybe, and then I think they'll do another one, or they'll continue.
Well,
I don't know.
Sorry, I'll let you finish.
I think that with Bad Batch and Clone Wars ending, it's good. I think that Bad Batch was good. Mando's good. Book of Boba Fett looks good from the little teasers and clips you've seen. Well, one teaser, maybe a few photos. Kenobi from the leaked set pics looks good. I know a little bit about Kenobi, but I can't say much because, I'm not getting us in trouble for saying secret information.
The man with the contacts.
Yeah, I know it. When are you going to get Drunk 3PO on here?
Wait, I heard if you say Gina's name 3 times, you can get Junk on here. No, I'm just
Full name or first name?
Junk's come into my chat 1 or 2 times. It's pretty cool. So, but I'll tell you that I think it's going to be a bigger, brighter future for Star Wars with Dave. And honestly, Galaxy's Edge looks pretty cool now after getting all the cool stuff. They just got the Darksaber in at the Galaxy's Edge. I want to go get it so bad, but I can't. It's like, if you want me to, I'll tell you, it feels more like the expanded universe is coming into Star Wars every day. I mean, we got Darksabers and and talks about all these different characters and all these different creatures that we mainly saw in the EU more than in any Star Wars movie. And then people are like, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this day. I don't get the people that hate Dave Filoni. I think he's good at what he does. I think he's the best Star Wars writer today. Get Pablo Hidalgo out of there. I don't know what he's still doing there. Get the Hidalgo out, and then we got John Favreau, Dave, and George. I think that's the crew right there, and I think we'll lead Star Wars into a lot more years of success and triumph with this decision. I do believe that.
That leads me to 3 different points I want to make. First one being, so the Lucasfilm story group has been over all the stories so far. Putting him in control, what does that do? Because they will probably the story group will probably have to answer to Filoni. So
yeah, they will have to answer to Filoni.
And see, the thing is, before he wasn't in charge of the story group, so they were making all these dumb decisions. So I'm thinking that thanks to this promotion, unless somehow they corrupt our wonderful Dave Filoni, hopefully that never happens. But
not with the shit that, not with the stuff that Kathleen Kennedy has done to the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I don't think that he'll change in any negative way. I think I only see improvement from this point on, which is a good thing. And this is one of those times I've never really felt as hopeful for Star Wars as I do right now, because things have looked pretty bleak for a little while, and then we see this and things are like, oh my goodness, things might actually be looking up. But that also leads me to another point. So let's be theoretical here for a second, or let's speak hypothetically. That's what I'm trying to say. So
let's get philosophical.
Let's say hypothetically, Kathleen Kennedy never left. Do you think that, even with his promotion, do you think that he would be able to make the kind of Star Wars that people are looking for, or do you think she'll still have some input?
No, he'll make it the Star Wars they're looking for.
Yeah.
So
she'll have absolutely no input.
So, like Midnight Edge said, I think it was Midnight Edge. No, Echo Base Network. They did, and I've mentioned this before, but they said that if she even if she does leave, that doesn't mean things will get better. So, and they also said that even if she stays, it doesn't mean things will get worse. Things can get better even if she does stay. So this could be one of those scenarios. If the rumors are wrong, if she isn't leaving, if they do renew her contract, this still could lead to a better place than what Star Wars has been. So whether she's gone or not, I'm still feeling actually a lot more hopeful than I've felt in a while. So
yeah, like if the thing I guess I would say is that if Kennedy stays and she's like just in behind the scenes and then like she's like, oh, that show sounds good, let's get it on the air, and then Filoni's the one that makes them, then yeah, I guess I'd be okay with that. Like Filoni writes the scripts and stuff, and Kathleen just approves the project.
Checks. No,
yeah,
she would not be allowed to approve projects if she was kept around. Yeah, if she was kept around, the only job she would have to do is sign the checks. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just she would. Yeah,
she wouldn't be allowed, and it would be stupid if she still had the power to be allowed to greenlight projects or not. If they kept her around, the only reason she would be kept around is to sign checks. And frankly, I don't even see her wanting to stay around to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If they pay her enough,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, if they pay her enough, she'll probably stay to do anything. But, yeah,
could you see that? Would there be enough money that would sate her ego to stick around?
I don't think so. I really think she just wants to go.
Yeah, although it's a weird situation. It depends on how she. I think she wants to do whatever she can that's best for her ego, she may be manufacturing this plan to go produce elsewhere. That could be. But if she doesn't have that lined up, then
Palpatine.
Yeah, it's I just want to say something real quick, man. You guys can talk, but we were talking about like all the people talking about rumors and stuff. I'm just gonna say one thing. I love the people in this community, my friends, Gary, I love all of them, the people that make these shows that we can watch and talk about this, where people don't call us stuff, but I'm going to say it. I feel like it's gotten too negative. Like we're looking at things and saying they're woke when they're not. And I think we need to calm down, breathe, just look at it and look that Star Wars looks better. Fallen Order was great. Squadrons was pretty good. Bad Batch has been great. Clone Wars has been good. The final season of Clone Wars. I'm just saying that Mandalorian has been amazing. So it's like I think we gotta calm down, breathe, and just look. That I think this is going to be a brighter future for Star Wars.
There's
I
also
think.
two other points, two other points because I just came up with a fourth one that I wanted to mention real quick.
Okay.
So earlier, and I forgot to do this, but now I'm remembering it. This Chrono said it's quite convenient how they released this information, which wasn't new a week after they missed the mark by 600 million in the earnings report. I can't remember the context of that, but yes, it's very true. I can't remember the context of how that got brought up, but yes, you're completely right, and it's also very weird that they, that they did that. Sorry, and I really like this one because he says cautiously optimistic, which is an Obi-Wan reference, and I love Obi-Wan, as everybody knows. This is exactly what they want. To give people hope so they go back to the franchise, but I would be cautiously optimistic. So yeah, I mean, that's also true.
Actually, Chrono, there's been a lot more talk of getting rid of the wokeness. The problem is that with how America is these days, it's sort of a case of it's a big case of if you don't wave the woke flag, you'll have a whole lot of people in black clad with red and black flags out the front of your building trying to burn it down.
Or they'll be on the internet bashing.
So it's not so much wokeness is coming first. It's just sort of a case of it might not be coming first within the company, but because of the way everything is outside of the company, they need to sort of go, yeah, no, we're so totally woke. Oh my God, yes, please help.
Betrayals and dogmas are coming after you.
The other thing is too, thinking about like kind of how Disney will handle Kathleen Kennedy. I'll say this, it's if you're a huge corporation like Disney, you don't want to see headlines saying Disney fired a woman.
Yeah,
you don't want that. Okay, and that's the thing. It's like even though it has nothing to do with that, even though I can do a far better Star Wars than Kathleen Kennedy. It's like
a 5-year-old child could.
Yes,
I wrote one.
and that's the thing. It's like this is nothing to do with her being a woman. This is all to do with this is firing her would be consequence culture.
Yeah.
If you want true consequence culture, then fire her.
Look, they say that we shouldn't cancel people, or that it's not canceling people, it's consequences. Well, I mean, it goes both ways. It doesn't go for just one side. It doesn't go for the side that you hate. It goes for both sides. Eventually, all this stuff will crack down on everyone, even the ones that are showing it in other people's faces.
That would mean they would have principles.
The only canceling I would support is Kathleen Kennedy's. No, I don't know, man. I don't want her in Star Wars.
Hang on. You wouldn't cancel the Lucasfilm Story Group?
No, I would. I want to. I'll cancel Pablo. No, I'll cancel Pablo.
I was about to say you're only putting one of them in there when there's more than just one evil force at work here.
No, it's like you cancel people who need to be, you call people out that need to be called out. I mean, Pablo Hidalgo has been bashing and humiliating and hurting fans for years by saying mean stuff to them all the time. I mean, he came after Star Wars Theory, and the whole company of Lucasfilm has called us all, names, but I don't want them utter. But it's like they call us all this. I mean, we try to call them out, and they're like, "Wait, what? You're mad?" Yes.
I do have to admit, I probably would have. I would have loved to have seen Freddie Prinze Jr.'s face when Dave Filoni was told that he was taking over creative control.
Yes, yes.
I,
I mean,
I think Freddie Prinze Jr. would have just gone, okay, delete Twitter.
So where's my $1 million check? No, I'm joking. No,
I mean,
I'm
yeah, I
joking.
mean, he had been sort of a. I'm not going to. I
Wait,
don't want to be
wait,
mean
what?
about saying this, but he has been a little bit of a jerk online, and you know what, I like him. Maybe not as much of a person now as I did before. I mean, he did really good
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Jarris, and that situation where he started going up against this person online because they brought up a legitimate, in my opinion, criticism to the first episode of Bad Batch, which I mean, they can do what they want. They can have Freddie Prinze Jr. voice Kanan as a kid, but
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, God, that was horrible.
The legitimate
I didn't
criticism that
think it
comes
was
with
that
it,
bad,
though,
but
you can't complain when you get criticism. It wasn't. I mean, the guy that criticized may have come off a little too strong, in my opinion, because that's sort of what instigated the whole thing. But Freddie Prinze Jr. like laid it on him afterward. So honestly, he should not have. Look, there's going to be haters everywhere. Why
Yeah.
go against them and make yourself look bad? Just ignore them. If you
Yeah.
believe that what you did was awesome, believe it. That's fine, whatever. But there ain't no use in being a jerk to people, even if they're being a jerk to you. I mean, there ain't no use. It just doesn't benefit anyone.
No, it doesn't. It's like that dude actually brought up good criticism about like I didn't like your voice in this. You sounded weird, and it's like I didn't hate it. I thought it sounded decent, and I wasn't complaining about Caleb Dune. Oh, yeah, but I wasn't complaining about what he did. It was just that someone brought up criticism and said your voice sounds wonky. I think they mess up your ADR or something, you know. And then he's like, and then he just started like sarcastically like being mean to the person. It's like, come on now.
I mean, you know, to be perfectly honest, it probably wasn't the best choice. Unless they could have, you know, made him sound younger.
Agreed.
That's yeah.
It just didn't sit right.
It was distracting at times. Like there were times where it sounded okay, and there were others where I'm like, I can't. It's
can't see him as a teenager.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good and bad at points, and I like Bad Batch.
The thing is that frankly, there was really no point sort of getting up in arms about it, though, because it was a 5-minute cameo.
And, you know, there's only one way that I can justify that entire cameo in the first place, and that is the fact that maybe a lot of people didn't know that Caleb Doom is Kanan Jarrus.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what. Yeah.
And maybe they wanted him to voice over him so everybody knew, oh, that's young Kanan. Why has he got a different name? And that's why you go read books like New Dawn or the Kanan comics or whatever.
Hang on, wasn't it in Rebels?
Yes, it was.
It was,
but Rebels was very underrated compared to Clone Wars. It wasn't as rated. It wasn't as watched as Clone Wars was, so not a lot of people knew.
Rebels the thing is that you wouldn't know the character if you didn't watch Rebels,
or read a book, or know like a figure or something. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a little weird.
It was jarring to hear him like that. It wasn't terrible the entire time, but it was. I think near the end of it, when he was yelling at Hunter and Crosshair, that sort of got me. I'm like, he sounds way too old.
Well,
yeah.
Bye.
So, other things. I forgot to do these, but here we go. It's yes, you're completely right. It's about hiring the right people for the job, but in today's today's world, that comes second to your gender or skin color. Unfortunately, that is
Or
true.
your politics.
Or that too. If you're one side that they don't like, they will probably not hire you over the side that they do like, which is unfortunate. Why not just hire somebody that knows how to do their job? I mean, that it's not that hard.
Because that's
asking for too
racist.
Well,
Sorry,
I mean,
what was that, Tano, Commander?
I was just saying you're asking too much from them.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry that I'm asking too much. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll try to ask for a little less. Let's see. Also, now Pedro is also under fire because of the Gadot. Is that how it's pronounced? Okay, I've never been able
I
to
think it's
pronounce the
actually
last name.
Godot, but
Gadot. I don't know. I'm just going to say Gal because of Gal, that situation, and we don't want him canceled, but I'm definitely not sorry for him. He was having so much fun with those tweets when the mob was on his side. So
absolutely.
of course you're going to have fun when they're on your side, but when that stuff turns around on you, that's the thing, and that's the thing that they don't think about is when what if this mob that I am with right now turns against me? What if all the things that we do to others comes back to bite me later? Of course, they don't think about that because they don't think it will. But in the end, it does.
That and it's called having principles.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, why not? Those are two very good points right there. Why not hire people for doing their job right? It's always good to hire the right person for the job, and isn't it sort of racist to hire a person based on their skin color anyway? I mean, it might be good for the person that gets hired, but it's still racist.
But it's because they've been discriminated, so we've got to do positive discrimination.
We got to it's like breaking somebody's heart and then buying them a gift afterward, except maybe you broke their heart too much and you're trying to buy back their love by doing this. See, the thing is, they think that the ones that are being discriminated against are still suffering from that discrimination from years past. So they're trying their best to buy like this what's the word for it? They're trying to buy the love of these people. Trying to buy their respect by doing things for them and discriminating the ones that apparently discriminated them in the past. So it's basically a get back situation where they're just trying to get
it's not social justice, it's social revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
They're trying to gain favor with that's what it was. They're trying to gain favor with these groups of people by discriminating the ones that they claim are discriminating them currently, even though they bring up like this past stuff. Like, let's say for black people, not all of them do this, and I'm not trying to get myself canceled, but some of them will bring up slavery. They didn't experience that. None of them that are around today experienced slavery back then. And just because whites owned slaves back then don't mean that they would do it again today. But why bring that up when you're not the one, when we're not the ones doing it?
Because it presses all the right emotional buttons in the people that they're arguing against. It's an easy way of getting them under their boot. Now, of course, the people that are being stepped on, if they realize something that back in that time period, everyone owned slaves, no matter what color skin you had. If you had any form of money, most likely you owned a slave.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing that I hear with people talking about reparations is, Okay, so how much do the African nations need to pay? Because they're the ones that enslaved the African Americans, and they're the ones that sold them to the white man. So how much do they need to pay then?
So, and that's another thing. They don't talk about all that stuff either. So, I mean, they're only talking about the part that they can use.
Actually, hang on a second. I've got to look this up. Oh,
The other thing too, while you're looking that up, is there's one category that I consistently don't see. I usually don't see mentioned. You will see people talk about discrimination based on race, gender, sexual orientation, etc. The one category I never see, it's class. And I think there's a reason for that. Because I think that is the actual category that tends to divide people more. Like, I think a black person and a white person of the same class have more in common than, say, a white person and a white person of different classes, or a black person of different classes.
Yeah.
And the reason you don't see class mentioned is that the very rich, well-to-do, privileged people who push this, kind of social justice capitalism. That's what it is.
But social justice,
So true.
communist capitalism.
It is. It's like they never talk about class, because if they said, "Oh, let's talk about class as a category," they'd then be, the villains, because they're the ones who control everything, and there's a reason for that. They do not, kind of this very elite bourgeoisie. They don't want any of these people beneath them to catch on. And so they think, well, divide and conquer. Let's use divisions by race, gender, etc. to divide all these people so that they don't catch on that we're the bad guys who are taking advantage of them.
And not just that, but I don't know what it is like over in America, but I can definitely say this about Australia. You have so many activists, so many communist activists, they're there for the working class and all that. And if you look into any of their pasts, funny enough, they all seem to somehow all go to rich private school, high schools that are only, the multi-millionaires go to type of situation.
Yeah, you get here. It's like you get here in the States, especially during the COVID lockdowns. You'd have these wealthy politicians who would vilify people for wanting to pull their kids out of public school because you had all these teachers going on strike and refusing to teach. And yet these same politicians consistently had their kids in private school. They never would have their kids in public school. I wonder why.
Now, I mean,
do as I do, not as I say.
I myself, I went to a private Catholic school, but the schools that these kids tend to come from are the type of private schools that my parents had no chance of affording. That are double the amount that my parents paid for my schooling.
Oh yeah, there's like, and it's like here, there's private schools where it's like, it's, like what I went to, my
the middle class could go to.
Yes, exactly. It's like, it's where if your parents, want, if public school sucks where you live, this is, they're good private schools, but they're, attainable. Or they have like financial aid programs, if you can't quite, kind of connect the dots with that. But then there are these private schools that it's like parents are sending their kids there. It's all for the prestige factor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to this kind of school. Where'd you go?
Oh, yes.
Public school? Oh, yes. Public school. What a joke.
I found the tweet that I was looking up prior to this talking about private schools. And funny enough, this was posted by Gina Carano. But I'll just read it out and you'll know why I grabbed it. History is not there for you to like or dislike. It's there for you to learn from it. And if it offends you, even better, because you are less likely to repeat it. It's not yours to erase, destroy. It belongs to all of us.
I remember that. I've seen that.
Yeah, and that and that pretty much epitomizes the discussion around slavery.
Yeah.
And the thing is that all the people that, all the social justice warriors like to bring up, slavers that are white, but they're completely ignorant to slavers that were black or tan or were tanned or that lived in the Middle East, where it's only been in recent history when they've gotten rid of slavery.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you've got to learn all of it. You can't cherry pick. Actually, there's another good quote. Oh God, I'm gonna have to remember it off the top of my head. Those that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
Those that don't learn about history properly are just doomed.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's a good one.
Because the thing is that if you go through the idea that you have learnt history and you know what you're talking about, but you've only learnt a real either A, political history, or B, rendered down history, you are going to make the same mistakes and not bloody realize it. And all while thinking that you're holy and good.
Yeah.
Which is, actually goes back to what Chrono was saying about Pedro. If you don't realize where you're standing, oh my God, the mob is now coming after me. I don't know why I didn't see this coming, because you weren't paying attention. But yes.
Yep. The opinions change among people so easily nowadays. Anything that was good at one time is bad now. And I'm not talking about slavery. That was never right. Just putting that out there. Just saying, in case you thought I was talking about slavery, I never said that. Or I was never saying that. But I mean, I forgot where I was going with that after I tried to keep myself from getting canceled. Dang it.
Don't ever try and do that. You're always it's if they are wanting to cancel you, they will find anything, even if it's just looking sideways. Oh no, he looked sideways the wrong way. Cancel him.
He stared at me wrong. I'm going to cancel him.
Cancel him.
I love how enthusiastic you are with that. You know what?
Take him to the pillar, strap him, and burn him alive. Witch!
The Salem cancel trials. That's what this is. You know what? Record yourself and cancel him, and I'll use that.
I bet my auntie's going, what the fuck? What the hell is going on in that room?
Okay. I think we've gotten really off topic. We were talking about Dave Filoni, now we're talking about all this.
It's not really off topic. It's just more ancillary topics to the current state of everything around David Filoni.
They're relevant, but
yes,
it's like not
Salem
the main
witch
topic.
trials, Dave Filoni,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Salem witch trials, has anybody ever watched The Crucible?
I
Sorry, the
haven't.
what?
The Crucible. It's about
I'm
the
familiar
Salem
with
witch
it.
trial. You are?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just wondering how you watch Destiny 2 Crucible.
No, no. I think of that every time I play The Crucible about it. I think of that movie a little bit, but that one right there is. If you watch that, it's also in a way sort of like how today is. They're looking for people that are, let's say, racist. Oh, there's a racist over there. They looked at that person wrong. Let's go burn them at the stake. You know, I mean, just watch. If nobody's watched it, you should watch it. I think isn't it based off of a book?
Yes, a play.
A play. Okay.
But yeah, it's interesting in general. One thing I've noticed, like when I was growing up, I remember like we would have, in literature classes or history classes, like I just remember like there was plenty of mention of the Salem witch trials, like as something that was a bad thing and that we should avoid. You know,
Mhm.
I don't think like kids are getting that as much as, say, my generation did. And that's unfortunate.
Very.
Because like the issue with the witch trials or witch trials now is that it isn't that racism doesn't exist. It's that with kind of critical race theory, it's designed as such that it's unfalsifiable. And it's like, if you care about truth, you must, you have to test claims that are falsifiable. Otherwise, you can't know if it's true. If it's impossible to consider the possibility that it's false.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like people need some basic epistemology 101.
Well
They're not
said.
getting-
What's that word?
Epistemology. It's how we know what we know.
Oh, okay, cool. I just know that word by knowing what I know. There are so many things that I understand the concept incredibly deeply, but I don't know the word for it. So someone goes, "Oh, it's this," and it's like, "Oh, so you mean all of this?" And they sort of go, "How the hell do you know the topic but not know the term?"
I get that. Epistemology is probably the only big word that I know. Everything else is like
But yeah, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's in a way so representative of the times that we are in now, because I think one of the situations that happened in the movie is that one woman was reading a book, and at the time that was unheard of, I guess, that a woman could read. So like, oh, she's a witch.
False.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Now people are just claiming racist all over the place, just like they were witch all over the place back then. So, I mean, yeah, I think in the movie, I think there was actually a couple of them that were witches. But see, that's the thing, that they were a very minuscule amount, as opposed to all the people they actually did burn and kill. So you know, it's very like I said, representative of what, I guess that's the word for it, of the times that we are in now. We're basically in the Salem racism trials. I can't even talk.
Actually, it's kind of funny that you said that statement, because with the whole, oh, that person's reading, must be a witch, is also very much sort of the same thing of what's going on here. Sort of that person is doing something that actually a lot of people are already doing and is not that out there. That must be wrong. Burn them.
Yes.
So
record all those things you say, like cancel them, burn them, record all those things you say. I'm going to use those. every time somebody says something controversial, I'll just like pull out my phone or something like that with that recording, and I'll just play it.
I'll get a I'll get a better recording of it, of all the different ones, and well, yeah, you can just give me a list of all the good ones.
Yes,
Thank you,
right,
Chrono.
right.
I am the mob now.
Yes, exactly. Yes, he
Oh.
is the mob.
Right. Maybe I can sort of like do sort of a little advertisement. If you're doing a stream and you need some a mob, just call Sir AOA. He can do any form of mobs. He can do the classics. It's a witch! Burn her! Burn her!
Oh gosh.
I was drinking tea and I did that. I shouldn't have done that.
Actually, I've got to tell you this story. We were playing a game of Story Uno. If you haven't played Story Uno, it's pretty easy. It's like a normal game of Uno, but depending on what type of card you put down, you add something to a story.
Oh, really?
Yes. Someone kept on. Someone added everyone that was playing into the story, and then tried to get us. And whenever it came to his turn, he would play a card and then make something embarrassing happen to us. Like, we fell into dino crap or something like that.
I won't play that now.
So someone else made him in the story gay, and he created all these female characters as a sort of a harem type of situation, and he played a card, and his part of the story was the dino crap fell on all the other characters, so all the girls ran to him. And the very next card that got played, the person's just slammed it down and gone, "But you're gay." That wasn't the joke. That wasn't the funny part. The funny part was that he was drinking a coffee as he played that card, and as that was said, and then proceeded to inhale the coffee. So he's just gone, and the coffee has just gone straight into his lungs. He spent the next 5 minutes just heaving up coffee and just getting all of it out of his lungs.
Wow.
So yes, be careful about when you drink if someone is going to put a joke down. This is your daily PSA, weekly PSA from the Force Collective.
Yes.
I am Sir AOA. Good night.
Come up with a good one for next week too. We'll make this a thing. This
PSAs from Sir AOA.
This weekly PSA was brought to you by the Force Collective. Okay. We're there was a one
there was
thing.
a topic at some point.
There was a topic. Where were we? I
Witches.
thought I had
Witches.
Oh, witches. Yeah. We were at the witches. There was
Or the
one
Lucasfilm
thing.
Story Group, whichever.
Yeah.
That's the cabal of witches.
Oh man. Good thing I wasn't drinking. I mean, I'm drinking. I am actually drinking something, but I wasn't at that moment when you said that. So, or when you did that. So, all right.
I am part of the Lucasfilm story group. I will turn everything into dismal crap.
Bubble, bubble, toil and treble. I will make Star Wars poop. I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with it, so I'm not good with improv.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do. You know, you sort of get the whole rhyming thing happening, and then you just go and just put in a word that just does not rhyme, does not suit, and you're sort of like going, "Why is this here?" You know, like the sequel trilogy.
Gosh, we're having a lot of fun, as you can tell. Let's go to a different discussion here. Since we haven't discussed it yet, and I think we made our point when it comes to the racism thing.
Yeah,
I think we made our point. But
funny enough, that was the original point. I'm surprised you remembered it.
Yeah, that was the original point. Well, no, there's one more thing I want to say. No, never mind. I'll save it for another time. Let's move on to the last possible thing that we can talk about. There has been 4 episodes of The Bad Batch. So we're going to review the 4th one or just give our thoughts on it. This may be spoilerish, so maybe a little bit spoilerish. Has everybody here watched it?
It will.
Has everybody here watched it?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. I'm sure Chrono
just anyone that's watching.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, everybody. If you watch beyond this point, it's your fault that you got spoiled. So let's move on into what our thoughts on The Bad Batch. I'm going to go first this time. I thought it was a really good episode. The only problem, and yes, Chrono has watched it. Okay. See, I was right. The only problem I'm having is that each episode seems to be getting shorter.
Yes.
We need to be going up, not down. That's a meme I've been seeing everywhere, and I love it. But yeah, each episode is getting like a little bit shorter, and I think that's a little bit weird. Since there's only 16 episodes in the whole season, at least that's what I've heard. You'd think that they would all be like at the very least 30 minutes. So I think that hopefully they don't go any lower than 25. I mean, I think a usual TV show's run time is like 22 minutes, and that's to give time for advertisements and stuff like that. But that's not going on in Disney Plus. There's no advertisements in between certain parts of the episode. So yes, 25 minutes is probably a little bit longer than what a regular TV show would be, but it's still not by much. Some of the episodes were at least 30 minutes. So I think that they should stick with that at the very least 30 minutes, maybe all the way up to 40. I mean, there's a lot of streaming shows now that do TV shows on their streaming services that are at least 40 minutes, which I think would be perfect. And that gives you a lot more time to tell stories, even if the season is a little bit shorter. In terms of how many episodes, that's just my only gripe, is that the episodes are getting shorter. Hopefully that's not the case with tomorrow's episode, which is what I'm excited for. I was really excited to see the bounty hunter. I forgot her name though. I can't seem to remember her name.
Fennec Shand.
Fennec. Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
And that's a question I need to ask. How long did it take you to know that it was her?
Oh, I knew it was her from the very beginning. I was waiting for that. The moment I seen her in the Bad Batch trailer when they were announcing the Bad Batch, I'm like, I want to see that episode.
Oh, well, see, I didn't see the trailer, so I didn't know she was coming. And it was pretty much the minute she came up on screen, I've gone, No, they didn't.
Well,
Uh,
that was the same
and
with
then I
me.
looked it up
except
and I went, oh, they did.
like I said, that was about the same with me, except I was thinking it's about time. I wanted to see this happen. So, as far as this episode went, it was a lot better than the last episode, in my opinion. I liked this episode a lot better. It even though it felt shorter, it did not last nearly long enough. But that whole chase scene and all that stuff was amazing.
Yes.
And Finnick is going to be a probably a regular for the show, at least till the end of the season. And I'm just wondering if she'll ever meet up with Boba Fett. If Boba Fett will even show up in the Bad Batch, that would be amazing too. But you never know. I mean, do they act like they knew each other before the Mandalorian? Maybe that's why Boba saved her.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean,
I've actually, to be completely honest, I think it would actually be a bad call if they put Boba Fett in the Bad Batch, mainly because that sounds like a story that should be in the book of Boba Fett.
well,
You know, how the hell did you get out of the Sarlacc pit? That sounds more like a story that should be in the book of Boba Fett.
Well,
not.
This is Bad Batch, though. It takes place before Episode 6, where he supposedly dies, which we know he didn't. So we would get to see.
That is a good point. Yep.
That we would be seeing a younger Boba Fett, probably, I guess, the right age for a regular clone trooper. So he would probably sound a lot like the clones. Maybe they'll still use Daniel Logan.
No,
I don't know. Or maybe they'll use Tamora Morrison.
Hang on a second. How long did the Clone Wars go for? They only went for what, 3 or 4 years or something?
The Clone Wars? Oh yeah, about 4 years, I think.
Because the thing is that he was a teenager.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
During season
5.
5?
Yeah, and they never show him afterwards. So he. Well, no, I think they show him in. Did they show him in season 6? I think they did, didn't they? No. But
even then, he would still be a young kid.
Yeah. So, well, let's see.
I forget which season it was, but there was.
It was the one with Obi-Wan disguising as what's his name to I guess figure out like this plan to assassinate the Chancellor or something like that. He goes undercover as what was his name? It was a criminal.
Oh, like Rayco RD.
I
saw that recently. Yeah.
Yes. But that was also, I think, a season before Boba Fett signed up. Signed up as Ventress for a mission.
Yeah, that was the last one we saw him with.
Yeah,
the one with Ventress. Yeah,
and that was after the prison break.
So he'll probably only look maybe a tiny bit older at this point. Just a tiny bit, because that was probably maybe a year before Order 66, is what I'm guessing. Maybe not even a year. But they will probably do what they did with Tarkin and Admiral Yularen, age them up somehow, because Admiral Yularen looks like he aged up 2 to 3 years within that last year, I guess, of the Clone Wars. And Tarkin, oh my gosh, just looking at him from season 3 all the way up to season 7 here, there really wasn't that much time passed. He already looks like the Tarkin from Star Wars episode. So
sorry,
it's untelling what they'll do with Boba Fett, but in a way, I want to believe they will bring Boba Fett into the show. And they'll probably use Daniel Logan, and maybe they will show that little story arc with Boba Fett finally beating Cad Bane. Now, whether they change it or not, I don't know. But that would be a nice thing to see Cad Bane show up again, too. But that's all just wishful thinking. But back to my thoughts
Hey.
on Bad Batch, but what were you gonna say? Something? Sorry.
No. Someone just popped into the chat. I was just saying, hey.
Oh. Hey, Lizzle. All right. Let's see. So, it's gotten me excited for the next episode. Honestly, somebody brought this to my attention. I can't remember who did or what did. I think I might have seen a post, but doesn't this show feel like it's going exactly how The Mandalorian did in the first season?
Yeah, maybe.
I can sort of see it.
Yeah, I mean, that somebody did like this vague description of both shows, and well, not a vague description of both. It was a vague description, and they wanted you to figure out which show that it was talking about. I think it was actually talking about The Mandalorian, but the whole thing. I hated how much I understood that description because it was so much. They were so much alike. So that's. I mean, I like it. I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a formula that works,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like if it works, then you go with it. I think there are enough differences at the same time.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
can't. These characters aren't in these two series. They aren't interchangeable. But yeah.
It's a structure. It's not the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It may look similar on the outside, but on the inside, it's much different. So,
I'm not just talking about outsides. I'm talking about insides, outsides, and all of that.
That was my analogy.
That was the framework. If you look at the framework long enough, you will spot similarities. But the minute you start putting, walls up and, you put up weatherboard instead of bricks or something like that, the minute you sort of start doing that, it starts changing.
Yeah.
That's true.
Something I like too, like about the structure, just of the Bad Batch generally. And it's so interesting background. So I like the Clone Wars. My sister likes it too, and my dad likes it. We all watch it together. My mom, on the other hand, isn't a fan of the Clone Wars. And but that might change. But her big issue with it was that she'll say like she just can't follow it. There's just too much to absorb and keep track of. But once again, she's really interesting. She was able to follow Rebels because it was just like kind of this small little intimate group of characters that you got to know over a long course of time. Now Rebels had, I think there were, I think I like Rebels generally more than other people do, but I also recognize it's for a younger audience, and say no more. What I like about the Bad Batch is that it has that structure in terms of this kind of more intimate. You're following this single little family group of characters throughout, so there isn't as much to keep track of. But at the same time, and I think this is what's really interesting, and because my mom likes the Bad Batch, even though she isn't a fan of Clone Wars. I think Bad Batch may actually be a gateway drug for her to get into Clone Wars. But it's true. And so that's why I'm really happy that this exists. So it's got that kind of intimate structure, that really simple, easy to follow structure that Rebels has, but it's darker. And it has the Clone Wars animation, and it has more, it has all those connections to that world, and it's just there's just a bit darker material to it and complex storytelling, and also, and this probably goes into my reaction to this episode. Like I like it was. There were parts of just like when Fennec is taking Omega by the hand and like, oh, I'll help you find your friends. It's like this is so creepy and sick. Like
Yeah.
on the one hand, watching this, but and I'm kind of on the one hand like yeah, but that's what made it so good, and she's a great villain for or antagonist, whatever, for this series. I'm like, you wouldn't. They're willing to go a little bit further, go much further than say, where Rebels went in terms of the maturity of the content. But at the same time, it's I think it's easier for people to just kind of jump in and understand the story and kind of assimilate it all.
Yeah. I had recently went back and watched Rebels. Now, I don't know if I've ever said this with you on here. I know I said it recently, but I never did like at least the first season of Rebels, and Rebels felt like a disappointment to me. I went back and watched it pretty recently. And before I say what I'm about to say, I did end up liking Rebels in the end. Maybe not as much as I do now, because now that I went back and watched it, I actually have a deeper appreciation for it. But I originally did not like the show, at least until Ahsoka came in, and that's what really brought me back to Rebels, because that's what really got me interested. But after she came back, I started paying more attention. I started trying to look over certain things about it. Basically, my problem was that I was expecting another Clone Wars when that was clearly not what was going to be coming out of this. But in the end, it did get better. And now that I went back and rewatched it, I actually do truly enjoy the show. And those things that bothered me before don't as much bother me now. So it's been more of a I'm trying to let down these barriers that I've had and try to accept it. And I do accept it. It's actually a really good show. But I can't remember where I was going with this, except that I was trying to say that. Man, I'm not with it tonight, am I?
But yeah, I think Filoni has learned kind of some lessons from that, because I don't know what's going on in his head, but I kind of, I suspect, and I think also it boils down to he's been given more freedom to do things that he may not have had when he was doing Rebels, and doing it for that, Disney XD, whatever channel for kids it was for, And so I think he kind of with this is taking some elements in Rebels that I think worked, but Clone Wars-izing it.
See, the Clone Wars was like a mixture of stories, while Bad Batch and Rebels had like this more of a linear story, instead of it going from this place to this place with this battle and this battle. It's the same characters trying to progress from point A to point B, and that's what I think was needed. And I think that's also why your mom doesn't follow it as much, because it's not exactly got a it's not got a point A to point B. It's just all over the place.
It's episodic.
Yeah, basically. And not to mention that even the episodes themselves aren't in order, even though they were released that way. So, it is a little hard to follow if you look at it like that. I do agree with that. And that's why Bad Batch and The Mandalorian and Rebels was easier to follow, because it wasn't like that.
And the thing is, this isn't a criticism of Clone Wars. Like, I like kind of the episodic nature of it, that it's like kind of a smorgasbord. Like, and you don't have to watch it linearly. It's like, oh, well, I feel like watching this arc, and then you can just put the DVD in and you can watch it. But I do think I think that these other shows that aren't Clone Wars, that are more linear, they are very helpful gateway drugs for that series.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you do have to remember the context of the lore of when those shows are based. Clone Wars was very much a galactic viewpoint. So there was going to be stories based on this battle. But once that battle is over, you can't exactly continue the story. So you've got to essentially go to a different battle or a different situation within the Clone Wars, where with Rebels and Bad Batch, you can very much just stay with the group in their travels.
Yeah. Also, I mean, because the Clone Wars is actually about the Clone Wars, it's not even just about a specific group of characters, though a lot of them tend to show up more often than the others. It did have some episodes where Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka weren't either together or in it at all. Some of them were just with one of those characters, or with, like, let's say Plo Koon, or the one with Kit Fisto and his apprentice, which was Lair of Grievous. I think that was the 10th episode in the first season. That one was didn't have any of the main characters that we usually see in that episode. It was just Kit Fisto, his apprentice, and a bunch of clones. Of course, it had the one villain, but that's not like Rebels, where we followed that one group of characters. Like, how many times did we see any episodes without any of the Ghost crew? That's an easy one to answer. There was no episodes like that, as far as I know. As for the Clone Wars, it's just a story about a bunch of battles that went on during the Clone Wars with various characters. And there's so many characters in the prequel trilogy that, you had to explain a few things about either what happened to them. Like, let's say Audi Gallia, she died in the first episode of season 5, I think, by Savage Opress. We didn't see her in Star Wars Episode 3, so they made up the scenario where she died in the Clone Wars. So, that's sort of what the Clone Wars was a setup to Revenge of the Sith. So they had to explain a bunch of different things that happened within that time. So that's why it works for the Clone Wars. It wasn't a criticism like Commander Tano said. It's just the style of the show. And this new style that they've got going does work with the Bad Batch, because it's about the Bad Batch. It works with Rebels because it's about the Ghost crew. It works for the Mandalorian because it's about the Mandalorian. But the Clone Wars was very vague. It wasn't about Obi-Wan or Anakin. It was just that whole group of characters within that time period. It's basically a show about the time period. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's why that works. So
really nothing much to add there.
Yeah, I think I sort of
sewed it up.
That. Yeah. Okay. So I've said my piece about the episode. I loved it, basically. What do you think, Soraya? What was your thoughts on that episode?
It was a good episode. It was quite strange because it sort of felt like a filler episode, but it wasn't a filler episode. It kind of set up things. It almost felt like an excuse to get Fennec on screen. And that wasn't a bad thing. It was just kind of, I see what you're doing there, and I like it.
Well, that's sort of what the second season of The Mandalorian did with most of its like character introductions and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It was. I liked the fact that you kind of have this connection to the Mandalorian now, even if it's just through the characters and not story wise. It makes it sort of feel. It makes the universe feel lived in.
Yeah.
Funny enough.
World building.
Yeah. actually, that's probably the best way to describe that episode. It very much felt like a world building episode, which was just good. You know,
Yeah.
you can't complain when it makes the universe feel larger.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Long awkward pause of silence.
No, it's just sort of a case of, you know, there really wasn't any sort of shocking reveals or
That's true.
really big things. So, sorry, I did forget, and actually, Chrono brought it up before I got to say, I love how Echo got sold.
Yes.
Yes.
that was great.
Hey, that thing he said at the end, "You got me for a bargain." I love that. I love it.
And I love, you know, the line, yeah, okay, you can sell it, but not for that price. I just loved how it came from it. You know, it stopped being you cannot sell me to, just, you're not selling me for that price. You know, I'm worth more than that.
I'm worth much more than that. I love it.
But yeah, it was just a really funny scene. Well, I shouldn't say funny scene. It was a fun scene.
It was both.
Well, sorry, it was both. Yeah.
It was both. It was funny, but it was also fun to watch. So
yes.
well, isn't anything funny always fun to watch? Okay, comedy is subjective, I guess.
I think you can have cases where something can be funny but just not fun. It's kind of a different emotion. But
back to it.
yeah, back to the dissection.
We welcome you back to your regularly. Oh gosh, I messed up the joke. Go ahead. Sorry.
We'll now take you back to your regular dissection of episodes.
Yeah, I'm terrible. Basically, what I was going to say.
Yeah, I sort of caught that, so I went, hang on, I'll just throw it in.
We welcome you back to your regularly scheduled programming. That's what I was going to say, but I messed it up. I messed up the joke.
No, see, that's why you needed to say dissection, not programming. Makes it sound weirder.
Well,
but I mean, the thing with this episode is that it's probably not something that people are going to remember, but when you watch it, you're always going to enjoy it. So that's why it's probably a little bit hard to sort of dissect it.
Yeah.
That's a good summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there were a lot of fun things to watch, but they weren't exactly memorable. I mean, like, you know, how actually this is probably one of the best setups I've seen in anything for a long while, was when Hunter came out with the explosive and Wrecker goes, "You can't sell that, it's our last one." And
oh, Lord.
And the fact that they didn't end up selling it, but actually using it to get away from Fenric and all that, was just perfect setup.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people didn't realize that until I just said it.
Yeah, I didn't actually realize it until you said it. So yes.
But I mean, that's you know, yet again, goes back to it won't be a memorable episode, but it will be one that everyone will enjoy while watching it.
Yeah.
I
mean, like you said, it felt like a filler episode, even though it wasn't. So that's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I think I think calling it more a world building episode is probably better than saying it was a filler.
Well, that's true. It wasn't exactly filler. The
I
episode
like
before it was. What?
Yeah, I was saying I like that. I like the distinction.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just sort of a case of I couldn't think of a word before that, and filler was the closest one.
Good job.
I wanted to use that today. I never got a chance to, but now I
actually, I think there's one that's missing. That's a regular that you haven't used.
Oh, wait. You mean this one?
Yeah, but there is another one that is a regular that you haven't used yet and haven't found a reason to.
You mean that one? you don't need a reason for that one. You just have to, you gotta want more. And when you see it, you just start thinking.
This is where the fun begins.
Now you're just pushing it. Now you're just stretching the reasons.
Liar!
I think someone was drinking tea at that point.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
But, no, I think it's Commander Tano's time now.
It's your turn, Commander Tano. Go ahead and
let me get the tea out of my lungs.
No, you're still holding on. Let go.
Okay. I'm like in this state where it's like I'm just generally laughing. It's not at anything, but I can't stop.
It's because you're having fun.
I am. I missed you all.
We missed you too.
We miss you too.
We value your insight.
Okay, yeah. So I think most of what I have to say is probably some repeat on what you two have said. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think I don't like the term filler. And I will say I'm kind of biased because I'm one of these people where it's like if there's a story and there's a group of characters that I like or I find endearing, like I just want to stay with them and hang around with them. Like I don't want the story to move forward because I don't want anyone to die or I don't want anyone to be separated. I don't want Luke Skywalker to pick up Grogu and take him away. Like even though I want to see Luke Skywalker, but you know what I mean? I kind of want everyone to be together and happy and for it to just be like that. And so I kind of enjoy more and take more time to savor what some people might think of as filler. But I like the term world building episodes because I think that's what it was. And I also I like in general what it seems we're going to be getting with this series, like just kind of going and visiting a planet and just taking it in, because that's the other thing that's just kind of cool is to see, some of these planets that you got in like early episodes of the Clone Wars and seeing maybe kind of a different side to them. And I also like, and once again, this is, I know, this is definitely a criticism one could make of Rebels, and I get their budget issues or whatever, especially in the, first couple seasons, but how they would kind of tend to recycle more, character models and things. This, that they've either sunk more money to it or they've found a way to kind of get a greater variety of worlds and characters and sets for cheap. I don't know, but I like that element of the show.
Oh yeah. Also,
they went on Unity and bought a whole lot of assets.
Oh yes, they just
I do not believe. No, Disney, I do not believe you did that. You do not need to sue.
Okay, I just got to acknowledge something. I am. By the way, I'm just going to say this now just to further prove this point. I actually drive a Camaro. So I am Bumblebee. I am the embodiment of a human bumblebee, basically. Just going to say that just to prove the point. But yes, I do speak through references and clips. That is sort of my thing. And filler would be like the Martez sister episodes. I think those are like the two sisters from season 7, and I want to say yes, but because they didn't feel like they were super relevant to season 7's plot.
I feel like they could have
And-
trimmed that arc by an episode. Like, I remember in that arc there was like one episode where it's like they escaped, but then they were caught again, like all within one. I was like, you know, you could have at least truncated that
Mhm.
story.
That was pointless.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the arc. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
I liked, like, especially the bits like when they're kind of asking Ahsoka where she learned all these things, and she'll say like, "Oh, my brother taught me." It's, you know, stuff like that.
Skywalker Academy, that
Yeah.
too. I thought was good.
Yes.
That's true. I did like that. The one thing I didn't like, and I don't know how many people know about this. I forgot the name of this character too, but there was originally supposed to be this male character that they had set up for, I think, a arc similar to this, and they never showed that character. I wonder what
Yeah.
I wonder what was going on to like make them think, we don't need that character or something. Because I think there was like an animatic of that of like the first clip with Ahsoka like that. I think it was the one where she was crashing her speeder.
Yes.
But instead of the two girls, it was him that she
I
met.
think whatever happened to it starts with K.
Oh, is
And-
does
and-
it, go ahead.
Ends
Frank.
in ism.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, who knows? Nah,
Hey,
I
let's just
think you know.
spell it out. Kathleen Kennedy's feminism.
Yeah. But I will say the two sisters weren't the worst thing that I had ever seen in the Clone Wars. Honestly, they weren't that bad. But I would have loved to have seen that character because I forgot his name. But I would have really liked to see him, especially after seeing that unfinished animatic of that first scene where she crashes the speeder and he helps her. That would have been really cool to see. But, you know, we didn't get that, unfortunately. But, you know, I mean, it is what it is. They changed a few things. Nothing terribly wrong. Let's see. Chrono says, it's a good idea, but the execution was really poor. So, I mean, yes, I agree. I feel like that whole arc could have had more to do with the end than what it did. And honestly, there's one other arc they left out that I really wish they would have added into at least season 6. And that is the arc where Obi-Wan and Anakin go to Utapau and discover this huge kyber crystal. And that whole arc, you know. If anybody has ever seen the unfinished animatic for it,
Yeah.
yes, I really wish they would have finished that one. That would have been so nice to see. But does anybody else have anything else to say about anything?
Anything.
Anything, I guess. Anything that we discussed. Just anything, I guess. I don't know.
Damn it!
If you want to talk about your breakfast this morning, go ahead. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. We've discussed about everything.
Well, I had this really nice croissants with triple smoked ham and garlic and cheese, and I think I might go and make another one. Excuse me, goodbye.
Well, for me, I didn't have breakfast. I sort of was in a rush to get to work, and I didn't eat.
But breakfast is the most important meal of the day. What
I
are you
know,
doing?
I know, and I usually preach on my sisters for that, or sister. I have 3 sisters, but one of them in particular, if she's still watching, because I think she was watching this, I tell her this all the time, and now I'm the. Oh, hold on. I think. Do I have a clip for it? No, dang it, I don't. I was gonna play. I become the very thing I swore to destroy. That's basically what I was gonna say. But I didn't. So
Well,
yeah,
you have some homework to do.
yeah. That's one thing I need to do. Is get that one on there. But yeah, no, I didn't eat this morning. I was rushed. I woke up at 5 this morning, so that was fun. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Oh, for anyone that's got a PSN subscription, even though I loathe to advertise for PlayStation, but if you got a PlayStation Plus account, Star Wars Squadron is the free game for next month.
Yep, I already have it, but on Xbox, so I need to get it on PlayStation.
Well, you all know what I'm going to be doing the first day of next month.
Yep.
Downloading.
Yep, that'll be that. I've not played the game yet, though. That's the thing. I haven't. I've not played it. For me, when it comes to games, I play either shooters or racing games. Sometimes sports games. Hardly ever do I play flight games. Though there was this game on PlayStation 2 I used to play. I think it was called Rebel Raiders. It was so fun. It was a flight game. I loved it. I played it all the time. I drew things that I seen in the game because I loved it that much. I drew some of the ships and stuff like that, the planes. That, and there was one more flight game I played. I think it was Rogue Squadron on the GameCube, the Nintendo GameCube. I played that
Good
like
choice.
forever ago. Yes, that was such a fun game. I would always try to play in first person because I always wanted that immersive effect of being in the X-wing or A-wing or B-wing or whatever wing I was flying cockpit. So yeah,
That was such an underrated console.
it was.
It was so much better than anything else that generation. Actually, the best way to put it is that it was the Dreamcast of that console generation.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, the Sega Dreamcast was a console that was far better power-wise than PlayStation, and a lot of stuff that the PlayStation ended up implementing, Dreamcast implemented earlier and, funny enough, better, but it died because no one bought any.
Dang. Well.
And the GameCube was the same for the PS2 generation.
Yeah. Squadrons was the best Star Wars flight simulator ever. That's a bold claim, mister. You are a bold one.
Well, we'll know next month.
Yep. Anything else y'all want to say before we end the stream or whatever? Maybe bring up a small topic you want to talk about. I don't know. I'm just here at this point. we did what we came here to do, and I don't know if
And
you want
more.
to. Yeah. Oh wait. Did you say more?
I was saying,
What was that?
Oh, just an excuse to make a sound.
Oh. Okay. That's fine. we do have. I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. We do have a Discord. The link is actually in the description of the stream. If you want to join it, or actually to advertise it better, I'll just pull a psycho and say, "What have you been doing with your life? Why aren't you on the Discord? You should join it. We post memes and talk about random stuff, mostly Star Wars though. But we do a ton of stuff in the Discord. We've been particularly active lately, talking about the Valar Glass on Destiny 2. So I mean, yeah, me and my cousin have some fun little conversations that if you wanted to see that,
he says conversations, but what he means is flirting.
now you're making me sound like I'm from Alabama. I am not.
Ding,
Just
ding,
saying.
ding, ding, ding,
No, it's all in good fun, but you got, if you don't know the relationship between me and my cousin, mostly Sand. Yes, mostly Sand. If you don't know the relationship between me and my cousin does some weird things, and I used to be like, why are you doing this? And now I just accept it because I don't know how else to react except to accept it at this point. That I've got stories. Some of them I won't tell because they're just so stupid and funny that I'd sort of want.
and probably R-rated.
No, not even close. Not even close. It's just we've had some weird conversations and stuff like that before, and not that they're embarrassing or anything like that. But I feel like those are just funny little inside jokes between us. But I'm making us sound like we're terrible people. We're not. I promise, we're not. Actually, we're not.
Makes you sound weird.
We're not that. We're not that bad. I'm not. Things ain't as bad as I made them sound. I told you I make things sound worse than they are, or I just make things worse in general. I'm going to shut up now. Basically, if you read one of our conversations, you'll get the gist of our relationship. We just make these stupid, weird conversations up out of nowhere using Star Wars references and all that stuff. It's just weird. And I guess if you want to join in on that, just join the Discord. It's fun. I have a lot of fun there. You can ask Chrono. He loves it. He loves all the stuff I do when it comes to like talking about sand and stuff like that. And everybody here knows how much I hate sand. It's really coarse. It's rough and irritating. And it gets everywhere. I got sand in my eye once, and that's when I really started to hate sand. I didn't get it in my eye. My sister threw it in my eye. That is one of the most uncomfortable things, is having sand in your eye. But yeah, let's see. So when everybody starts avoiding Psycho next week, he is going to be like, dude, what the heck did you tell them? Oh man,
Everything.
If he goes back and watches this, he's going to be like, you know
He's
what?
going to crucify you.
Yeah.
No. He's going to grab you and burn you to the stake.
Oh Lord, I've really made us sound like. No, I'm very bad at doing.
We're
descriptions.
crazy.
I mean, I think everybody's crazy, but not as crazy as my cousin. In a good way. He's crazy in a good way. He's not.
The Force
bad.
Collective has just made a collection and just collected all the crazy.
Yeah, we sort of collected all the crazy. Yeah, and
just not the Twitter crazy.
yeah,
That's a
not that
completely different type of crazy.
Yeah, that's more of an insane rather than a crazy. Insane's worse. All right, I feel like we've
That's ableist. That is so ableist.
We're a it's a benevolent crazy.
Oh, I'm speechless at this point because I keep thinking about what I said and how bad I made it sound. I'm afraid of saying anything else because I know I'm going to make us sound even worse.
Don't worry. If that happens, I'll jump in and make it even worse.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. See, the thing is, it would sound really bad if you didn't know the context, and that's what I'm afraid of. So I'm not saying anything else because the context won't be there, and I'm going to shut up now because I'm still making it sound bad. So,
Hey, don't worry. Chrono is saying that they have the same relationship with their cousin. Ding 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 ding.
No, that is not even close. Not even close.
Sorry, I just had to.
Of course you did. Oh gosh. You know what? You're no different than the guys I work with. Whenever I make a mistake like that, they don't let me live it down. And oh gosh. I feel like everybody I come in contact with does.
You know what that means? Do you know what that means?
What does that mean?
They like you.
Hey, I'm all for being liked. That's fine with me. Let's see. Don't sweat. Me and one of my cousins have that kind of relationship too, so I get how it is. Thank you, Chrono. He's the only one. Well, besides Commander Tano, she hasn't made fun of me yet. Besides,
I'm here trying to figure out when can I make tea because it's like I'm gonna be. You're all gonna kill me.
Okay. On that note, then I will let you make your tea now. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to end this here. Remember the Discord. If you don't join it, then what's wrong with you? Why aren't you joining? Also, follow me at Twitter. I'm at TFC_Star Wars. Sir AOA is at Sir AOA. Wait, how does yours go exactly?
Sir_A_O_A.
Okay, and
because someone would have already taken it.
And then Commander Tano is at Lady Tano 501st, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So if you want to follow any of us, just go to those. We're on Twitter. And I'm working on a few other things too. And I think I'm going to get back into doing videos on Monday, which is a thing I've sort of neglected as of recently because of either things being busy or technical issues. So hopefully we're going to get back into that pretty soon because I feel like doing this once a week just feels a little weird without doing something on Monday like I had been doing. So I'm hopefully getting back to that. But without putting things off longer, I want Commander Tano to be able to make her tea. So it's been great having you guys here. Thank you, everybody who's joined us on the stream, especially you, Chrono. We really enjoy your company, whether you're on the wait, did you say more? I feel like this is going to become a running joke. Anytime somebody says more, that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah, because they just want. Oh, come on! I'm leaving it
open. Look, you got to say more before I do more. Okay, get it? The moment you say the word, it's going to happen. So if you don't want it to happen, don't say it.
No more.
I think you did that intentionally. It is dumb, but I love it just as much as I love this. Yes.
It's too bad for you, Shade. He's married.
Hey. First of all, I don't swing that way, but if I was a woman, I would be sad. a little bit at least. But then I'd also be in a way relieved because he's sort of intimidating. So, I mean, how can you not be intimidated by Adam Driver? I mean, he's sort of intimidating. But
until you hear him talk.
I mean, he just has like an intense glare. But if you heard him speak, he wouldn't be so bad. But if he was just looking at you like this.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, you know, you hear him in the interviews and he sounds a sort of very quiet, sort of contemplative person. So it's sort of one of those sort of situations of, you know, don't judge a book by its cover.
That's true. I am actually going to end it now because I said I was going to let Commander Tono make tea, and then I go and do that again. I can't ever end a stream. Have you guys noticed that? I can never actually end one. I'll start ending it, and then I'll stop, and then I'll start again, and then I'll stop. I'm doing that currently too. Don't you hear me?
I know. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do an outro.
I don't like doing the
scared
outro.
of it.
I feel like I'm just going to ramble for like the last 5 minutes, and I think that's why I don't like doing the outro, because it's just me rambling. I will work on that. Now that I've called out myself on that, I will work on that.
And guess what they call the rambling at the end? Guess what they call it?
Is that what you were?
No. The rambling at the end, you know what they call it? They call it an outro.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then I already did my outro. All right. This time, for sure, I'm going to end it. Thank you guys for joining us today. And thank you, Commander Tono and Sir AOA, for being on here. It's been a while since Commander Tono's been on here, so it's been nice to finally get her back on here. By the way, how did your trip go?
It went very well. I went to South Dakota.
Oh, nice.
Just first road trip out west, and yeah, it was nice. I'm sad to be back here.
Well,
but not here,
Yeah, not
right?
here. Just,
Yeah.
I'm sad.
I know what you're saying.
East Coast, but yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, and to that I say, well, at least you're safe.
Yes.
So, yes, that's
now.
one thing.
Yeah.
Well,
until the black block comes around.
Yeah. Okay. I did say I was ending it. So, thank you guys. I've said that already. May the force be with you. I'm terrible at this. I'm very terrible. I'm just going to play. You know what? Forget it. I'm playing the outro. Goodbye. See ya.
Sector.